Right, that's me. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. I know that's an old cliche, but it's true. I teach 4 classes a semester. So that's 8 classes a year plus a summer class. So that's 9 a year. That's 9 first days every year for 23 years. You would think at this point I'd have it down, but I really don't. I sort of know what to do the first day. I still get excited the night before, and I'm up till midnight. So it's still important to me. I like it. I'm glad you guys are staying here. A lot of what you said's up here, and I'm hoping that you'll see that there are some of us who really do that. Now, this is the choir. We're preaching to the choir. These are the people who, in a summer, come to these kind of conferences and sit around and listen to people like me, and that's amazing to me. So for me, and once again, I teach a specialized group, nuclear medicine technology students. They're the ones that they're already juniors. They've already taken all the physics, the math, the chemistry, the anatomy, the physiology. They know what they want to do. They've been to the hospital. They've observed. They come in with, pocket protectors. Well, anyway, but so we tend to link up day one. I love this stuff, and they want to love this stuff. So it works out a lot better. Freshmen, I can't imagine teaching freshmen. So we want to be organized. So first day of class, the expectations are high. Your expectations, their expectations. They really don't know maybe what they're getting into. You know the big picture. You have the Gestalt view. You know how this course relates to every other course in the major. You know what they've taken beforehand because you're a great advisor. Where's my advisor? You're a good advisor and you know where it fits into it, but they don't. And what they're interested in is, how do I make an A? How do I make an A? Do we have to show up? Can I have my laptop? All right, so that's my classroom over at Spong Hall, and then it had 2 cadavers in it after I left, so it was moving up in the world. All right, so the very first day, give them a syllabus. My syllabus is now 13, 14 pages. It's a legal document. It's crazy. Nobody wants to read it. I don't want to write it. But if you don't put it in there, somebody's going to say, now you said that at 8:30 on September the 4th, we were going to have a quiz, and you didn't. Wait a minute, Poindexter. Let me look at that. I meant September 4th next year. I just didn't change the calendar. So you've got to have a well-developed syllabus. Let me tell you who will help you with that. CLT does a wonderful job. If you haven't used their resources, they can tell you the kinds of things that should be in a good syllabus that are just wonderful, things that I forgot all about. So they will help you with that. Tell the students how important the syllabus is, that you're going to use it as a guideline. It's not really a contract. It's like a blueprint. We're going to use this to move through the semester, and it'll tell you what I'm expecting of you and what responsibilities you have and what I have. Synopsis of the goals and objectives. Tell them what you're going to do that semester. Relate it to the whole picture of the course, and also to the program, and also to getting a degree at Old Dominion University. I try to see the big picture. I try to let them see the big picture. I'm into linkages. This course is important because we're going to learn the physics of radioactivity. However, there's a little bit of history involved, so we'll talk about history first. And then we'll talk about how you have to be able to write, and how you have to be able to think, and how when are we going to learn physics? Can we learn physics? Because I love memorizing half-lives. I know you do, but you know what? We're going to learn a little bit more than that. All right, the grading system, that's your expectations. Is it summative? Is it formative? Maybe it's formative, and you're going to do things along. I give quizzes all the time, and then I tear them up. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, but I made 100. Yeah, I know, but the kid next to you made a 50. So she wants me to tear it up. All right. So you get them off kilter a little bit, and after a while, they don't worry about it. Can we have a quiz? I'll walk in with a stack of papers, and they look at it. Is that a quiz? No. Expected behaviors. That's what what my lecture, my 15 minutes or whatever I get is expectations. There's a difference between standards and rules. I'm not a big rule person because rules are meant to be broken and forgotten and bent, but expectations is they're adults. They're adults. This is what I expect you to do. I walk behind them. What are you looking for? I'm looking for this. Who's forcing you to be here? Is it your mom? You know, my mom says I got to get a major. I've been here 7 years. Yeah, I know. Like, people go to college for 7 years. They call them doctors. So what you need to do is you need to straighten up. And it's the one video we didn't see yesterday. We didn't see Professor Kingsfield. Who knows Kingsfield? Yeah, I carry a dime with me, and I say, come here. here's a dime, call your mother. Actually, it's a quarter now. You're not going to be a nuke med tech. The chances are very low that you're going to make it. And they're like, nobody's ever talked to me like that. There you go. The dean hates what I do. I talk more people out of my program than in it, but the ones who are there love it. They want to be there. They're interested. I'm interested, and we move along. I have people who aren't even nuke med majors who want to take the class. Listen, I just want to hear you. You're like Seinfeld. All right. Classroom etiquette. Yeah, no cell phones. Now, some people we have a box, put all the cell phones in a box, and they pick them up at the end of the class. That's what Faye Coleman does her first day. She says, all your cell phones are in the box, they're gone. If they go off in my class, I'll answer it. I'll walk down the hall, or the row, I'll pick it up. Hello? Who is this? Is it Becky? Yeah, it's Becky. She's busy right now. I don't bring my cell phone, they shouldn't bring theirs. Laptops, they can have them, but I teach from the back of the room occasionally. So I'll watch and I'll say, ooh, are you on Facebook? The honor system, don't cheat. You're going to work in a hospital and you're going to handle radioactive materials at age 21. So if you cheat, I don't want you working with my grandmother. Now, Worth Pickering, Worth's not here, right? No. Worth's not here, but the one thing that Worth got out of my lecture on first day expectations was, I used the grandma rule. Would I let this student work on my grandmother? And if I would, then I'd move them along. If not, then they remediate. I won't fail you, per se, but I'll work with you until you're ready to move through this. You got to make the effort, though. Even at this conference, I've had people come up to me and say, one of your students did my bone scan, did my heart scan, did my PET scan. And how were they? And they were great. And I have a calendar, and then don't stick to it. First day, even when I teach 116 people at a distance site, I have my sheet with everybody's name, and I always call their name, especially if they're a singleton. Becky, how is it out there at Wytheville? Boop. Cold. Okay. Who's sitting next to you? Doot. No one. Okay, well, that means I'm going to call on you all semester long. Doot. Please don't. So get there early and be organized. I always show up early. And I always keep them not late because I know that interferes. Nobody likes a faculty member that keeps someone late because they have another class to go to. Except in my class, because it's usually me. I'm the next class. So I keep them late. My wife says, why do you do that? And I said, because it sets the tone. Sets the tone. Sets the tone. The first day, the expectation is that this is the most important thing in your life. I know you're a single dad or a single mom and your grandmother's sick and your cat died, but you got to learn nuke med. And I have a responsibility to teach this, and I know, and they all have lives. They've done more in 21 years than I've done in the 40 years that I'm around. All right, I have my organized, I have a thing, and I have their little names. I have their names. I took that first sheet, I cut them out, and then, because students, once they sit there every time. And they're in every table, so I know where they are. And then the ones that are the smart Alex that move, I have a piece of tape on the back, I move it over. All right. All right, this was, believe it or not, my very first day of teaching, which was at Centera Norfolk General in 1979. I walked in, and the teacher before me had bored the young lady to tears, and she was sound asleep, so I took her picture. I did. That's an actual picture that I took of her in the x-ray class. But you got to talk about yourself. I get them to talk the first day, they talk. I get a demographic sheet. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want to be a nuke med tech? Let me tell you why I went into it. I changed my major 3 times at Old Dominion. My transcript at ODU still says chemistry. It still says chemistry. A 40 in organic will change your life real quick. Right? But why are you interested? Generally, your love of the subject, you're the content expert, and it should come through. They love to learn from somebody who loves the subject. Relate the course to their life. This was my most important teacher. That's Gary Copeland. He taught physics. He was my advisor. He was my mentor. He was my teacher. He was the meanest guy you ever want to meet. On the first day, he didn't do any of these things. He did all these things on the last day. And I never forgave him for that. I said, you should have done that the first day you met me, but you did it the last day. But it changed my life. I went from a student who was here, and man, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be. He said, look, we're going to go over this and that this whole semester, but you, Scott, are going to have to take the initiative. And he told me this on the last day of a research class. He says, you should be learning for its own sake. Not just the material. Learn because you love to learn. It's going to help you in your life, help you fill out your taxes, help you have a successful marriage. Learn for your own sake. Learn more than's required. I remember a faculty member saying, hey, look, take out a piece of paper. Write down the person who wrote chapter 6. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know who wrote the book, much less chapter 6. I don't even know the name of the book. Learn more than is required. So he had us read the preface to every one of our textbooks, the preface as to where the people came from and why they wrote it and what their angle was, and I learned a lot from that. And I learned it from him. It's process, not just product. I need an A in here. Why? Because I'm going to med school. Do you want to learn anything along the way, or you just want to get an A? I want to get an A. Go over there. First day, tell them what you expect them to do. Tell them what you expect them to know. It's a learning thing, not just a teaching thing. I'm not going to stand up here and lecture to you. I'm going to get you involved, put you in groups. The ones who don't like groups, you can work alone. I don't care. But as long as you learn it. How do you expect them to succeed? This is what I consider success. And expectations are better achieved through standards rather than rules. That rules breed enforcement. There are consequences. They tend to be punitive. And you end up being the policeman if it's a rule. I'd rather not. I let them learn to do things because it's the right thing to do. If it's the right thing to do, it's an expectation. You cannot underestimate esprit de corps. I'd rather be a coach and a mentor and get them so excited that they want to do this that they'll nominate me to be a shining star, and I'm not a pleasant person in the class. I am the one who I'll be all over them, but you'll thank me later. And so the importance of the first day sets the tone for the course, provides clear expectations, identify the standards of behavior, what you expect out of them. Raise them all up. Raise them up to this level, no matter what their GPA is. And what's the result? Here's the result. There you go. You get all the students that end up operating $500,000 pieces of equipment on your mother or your son or your daughter, and you can trust that if they went to Old Dominion and they graduated from my program, they know what they're doing. And for all future Nuke Med students, because I know y'all are going to want to jump right into this program now, we can only accept 12 because we have to spell nuclear med. There you go. And there's the 100,000th graduate from Old Dominion, and she's with the first baccalaureate graduate from 1954, I believe. And she was one of my top students. She worked her way through school working at Hooters. And she had the highest GPA, and you would never expect. You don't judge somebody by the way they look. She came in, kicked butt. Now she's working down in Florida as a nuclear med tech, and she's a teacher in nuclear medicine. So anyway, be organized, be energized, and have high expectations.